All right, so are you ready to dive into something kind of out there?
I'm intrigued. Lay it on me.
Well, today we're looking into this idea of uh, activating your supermind. Have you heard about this?
Oh, yeah, the concept of unlocking hidden brain power, right.
Yeah, like for better learning and problem solving. Some people even claim it can boost your luck, which is a little far out.
Definitely a bit out there, yeah. But it taps into that universal desire to reach our full potential.
Absolutely. And this online article we found for a product called Supermind Signal is really playing into all that.
What kind of product is it?
Well, they're claiming that getting to a specific brainwave state they call the alpha state can unlock this so-called supermind.
Okay, so alpha waves, those are a real thing. They're associated with relaxation, creativity, sort of like the brain's chill out mode.
Exactly. And they actually mentioned this study from the Paris Brain Institute, where participants in an alpha state were able to solve complex problems faster.
Yeah, that's pretty fascinating.
Intriguing, for sure. The article even says that Einstein had, crazy high levels of alpha activity.
Yeah.
But is this supermind thing legit, or is this just, marketing hype?
Well, you have to be careful with the way these things get presented. Alpha waves are linked to positive mental states, yes. But this term supermind, it's not really a scientifically established term, more of a marketing buzzword.
So, not a literal supermind, got it. But then the article goes on to say that modern life, with all its stress and busyness, bombards us with these other brain waves, beta waves. And supposedly that suppresses those good alpha waves and holds us back.
It's easy to make stress the bad guy. But beta waves are important too, you know? They're associated with focus and alertness. Like, imagine trying to cross a busy street in pure alpha mode. Not a good idea.
Right, you need to be aware of your surroundings.
Exactly. It's about balance, right? We need both alpha and beta for a healthy brain.
Like the old saying, everything in moderation.
Mhm.
Stress, too. I mean, I know when I'm super stressed, I can't think straight.
Absolutely. Chronic stress can really affect your mental performance.
So, if we want to get to this alpha state, how do we do it? This article talks about 4 ways: hypnagogia, meditation, neurofeedback, and then this thing called Soundwave entrainment. What are all those?
Okay, let's break them down. Hypnagogia, that's when you try to wake yourself up right before you fall asleep.
Sounds tricky.
It is, and it can actually mess with your sleep. Then there's meditation, which has a ton of research backing it up, lots of benefits, but it does take time and commitment.
Right. What about that neurofeedback thing?
That's the high-tech option, like training your brain waves in real time. Effective, but those systems can cost a fortune.
So, not exactly budget friendly.
Not really.
Yeah.
And that brings us to Soundwave entrainment, which is the method this Supermind Signal uses.
So, Soundwave entrainment, is that like hacking your brainwaves using sound?
It's kind of like that,
Yeah.
yeah. You listen to specific sound frequencies, and the idea is that those frequencies can guide your brain waves in a certain direction, in this case, towards alpha.
So, does it actually work?
Well, it's user-friendly, that's for sure. But the research on long-term effectiveness, still pretty early days.
So, more research is needed before we can say for sure if it's a reliable way to activate alpha and all that.
Yeah, exactly. And we have to be careful about separating the marketing from the science. They throw around some scientific terms, but they don't actually provide much concrete evidence.
They do mention a lot of anecdotal evidence, people saying it's worked for them, stuff like that.
Right, but testimonials are just stories. They're not scientific data. They might be convincing, but we need more than that.
So, just because someone says this Supermind signal is working for them, it doesn't mean it objectively is.
Right, exactly. It could be a placebo effect.
What's that?
It means people experience positive results just because they believe something will work. The mind is powerful.
That's wild. Okay, so let's talk about this Supermind Signal product. They're saying it's an 8-minute Soundwave program that can supposedly unlock your alpha potential. And they're claiming all these benefits: improved learning, creativity, even better luck, and relationships.
Sounds almost too good to be true, right?
Right.
That's where we really need to be careful and use our critical thinking skills. They're making some big promises, but the evidence isn't really there.
So should we just ignore all the anecdotal evidence?
Not necessarily, but we need to be cautious about how much weight we give it. The human mind is complex, and our experiences can be influenced by all sorts of things, including our expectations and beliefs.
So just because someone believes it's working, it doesn't mean it objectively is.
Exactly.
Okay, so what about the science? Do they have any real scientific backing for this Supermind signal?
Well, they throw around some scientific terms, but they don't actually provide much concrete evidence. They talk about research, but they don't give any specifics.
So it's like they're saying, trust us, it's science, but they're not actually showing us the proof.
Exactly. And that lack of transparency is a bit of a red flag. In science, credibility comes from peer-reviewed studies, published data, and clear explanations of research methods.
So it's not enough to just say it's backed by science. We need to see the evidence, right?
Right. We need to see the data, the studies, the methodologies. Without that, it's hard to take their claims at face value.
And that's where things can get tricky, right? Because people might hear alpha waves, Einstein, and scientifically proven and think, okay, this must be legit.
It's easy to get swept up in the hype, especially when it's presented in a way that sounds scientific and authoritative.
Okay, so how do we avoid falling into that trap? How do we separate the hype from the real science?
It's about being informed and doing your due diligence.
What do you mean?
Well, for one, don't take everything you read at face value. Be critical, ask questions, and look for the evidence.
So don't just believe everything you hear.
Right, and be wary of products that make grand promises without backing them up with solid research. If a company is making big claims about their product's effectiveness, they should be able to provide the evidence to support those claims.
Okay, and what else?
And don't be afraid to be a little skeptical, especially when it comes to products that claim to offer quick fixes or effortless solutions.
So if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
That's a good rule of thumb, yes. Real change takes time and effort.
Okay, that makes sense.
And remember, you're the one in control. You get to decide what you believe and what products or practices you choose to invest in.
So it's about taking responsibility for our own decisions and not just blindly following what marketing tells us to do.
Exactly.
Well, I don't know about you, but I am already feeling more empowered just by having this conversation.
Me too.
Yeah.
Knowledge is power, right? And the more we understand about how these things work, the better equipped we are to make informed decisions.
Absolutely.
So before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with this thought. What if, instead of seeking external solutions like this Supermind Signal, we focused on cultivating the power within ourselves? What if we could tap into our own innate potential through practices that are grounded in science and have stood the test of time?
That's a really interesting question, and one we'll definitely be exploring further in the next part of our deep dive.
I'm looking forward to it.
Me too.
You know, it's funny how they make alpha sound like the good guy and beta the bad guy.
Right, like we're supposed to be an alpha all the time to be our best.
But even stress, which is linked to those beta waves, isn't always bad.
Yeah, you need a certain amount of stress to get things done right, like deadlines, for example.
Exactly. In the right amount, stress can sharpen your focus and make you more productive.
Like, if you think back to our ancestors, they needed that jolt of adrenaline, that beta boost to survive. Imagine dodging a saber-toothed tiger.
Exactly. That fight or flight response is crucial in dangerous situations. It helps us react quickly.
So maybe we need a little bit of beta, a little bit of that edge to perform at our best.
It's all about balance, right? Not too much, not too little. Just the right amount of each brainwave to help us navigate different situations.
Makes sense. The article also keeps saying that this Supermind Signal program is backed by science, like it's been rigorously tested.
Well, that's where we need to be careful. They make these claims about scientific backing, but they don't provide any specifics.
Like, what kind of research are they talking about? Who conducted it? Where can we find the data?
Exactly. They're not giving us the details. And that's a bit suspicious, right?
Yeah, it's like they're saying, trust us, it's science.
Yeah.
But they're not showing us the proof.
Exactly. In science, credibility comes from transparency. You need to be able to show your work, explain your methods, and have your findings peer-reviewed by other scientists.
So it's not enough to just say it's scientifically proven. We need to see the actual evidence, the data.
Right. Otherwise, it's just marketing, not science.
And, they use Einstein as an example, saying he had high levels of alpha brainwave activity.
Oh, yeah, the classic Einstein strategy. It's clever marketing.
Because who doesn't want to be like Einstein, right? But just because he had high alpha, does that mean it was the cause of his genius?
That's the thing. It's correlation, not causation. Just because two things are linked doesn't mean one caused the other. There could be a million other factors involved.
So maybe Einstein was brilliant for a whole bunch of reasons, not just because of his alpha waves.
Right. It's tempting to oversimplify things, but the human brain is incredibly complex.
Speaking of oversimplifying, they also talk about all these amazing benefits people have experienced using the Supermind Signal. Improve problem solving, learning, creativity, even better luck and relationships.
It's a laundry list of desirable outcomes, isn't it? It's like, who wouldn't want all those things?
Exactly, but how much of that is actually true?
Well, that's the thing with anecdotal evidence. It can be very persuasive, but it's not the same as scientific data.
So just because someone says this product changed my life, it doesn't mean it will work for everyone or that it even really works at all.
Right. There's a difference between personal experience and objective evidence.
Okay, so how can we tell the difference? How do we know if something is genuinely effective or if it's just a placebo effect?
Well, that's where scientific research comes in. Rigorous studies with control groups, blinded participants, and statistically significant results. That's what gives us the confidence to say that something actually works.
Right, because science is all about testing and verifying, not just taking someone's word for it.
Exactly. And that's where the Supermind Signal falls short. They're making big promises, but they're not backing them up with solid scientific evidence.
They do mention a money-back guarantee, though.
True, and guarantees can make people feel more comfortable trying something new.
Like if it doesn't work, I can always get my money back.
Right, it reduces the risk. But remember, a guarantee doesn't actually tell us anything about the product's effectiveness.
Okay, so a guarantee doesn't mean it works. It just means we can get our money back if it doesn't.
Precisely. It's a marketing strategy, not a scientific validation.
And then there's the pricing. They have this whole section about a limited time offer, making it sound like an amazing deal.
Classic scarcity tactic. It's designed to create a sense of urgency.
Like, buy it now before it's too late.
Exactly. They want you to make a quick decision without thinking too much about it.
And they even say you can't find this product on Amazon or anywhere else, which makes it sound exclusive.
It's all part of creating that perception of value and scarcity, like it's a secret hidden gem that you have to be in the know to get access to.
And of course, they throw in some bonus content to sweeten the deal even further. More stuff.
It's all part of the marketing playbook.
It seems like they're really good at marketing, but not so good at providing evidence.
That's the thing. They're very persuasive, but they're not giving us the substance to back up their claims.
So what can we do to protect ourselves from this kind of marketing hype? How can we make sure we're making informed decisions?
The key is to be an informed consumer.
How do we do that?
Don't just take their word for it. Do your own research. Look for independent reviews.
So don't just rely on what the company tells us.
Right. And be especially wary of products that promise quick fixes or effortless results. Real change takes time and effort.
Okay, so no magic bullets.
Exactly. And if something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Trust your instincts.
That makes sense. Don't get swept up in the excitement without considering the facts.
Right. It's about using your critical thinking skills and making informed choices based on evidence, not just hype.
So what should people do if they want to explore ways to enhance their cognitive abilities, but they want to avoid falling for these marketing traps?
Well, there are several approaches that have much more robust scientific support than Soundwave entrainment. Meditation, for example, has been extensively studied and shown to have numerous benefits for cognitive function, stress reduction, emotional regulation, and more.
Right. Meditation has been around for centuries.
Exactly. And there's a growing body of scientific evidence to support its effectiveness. And it's not just about sitting in a lotus position and chanting. There are different types of meditation that can be adapted to your lifestyle and preferences.
And it's something you can do on your own without having to buy any expensive products or gadgets.
Exactly. It's accessible, affordable, and has a solid track record.
Okay, so meditation's a good option. What else?
Well, don't forget about the importance of lifestyle factors like sleep, exercise, and diet.
Right, those are important for overall health, not just brain function.
Absolutely. They provide the foundation for a healthy mind and body. Think of it like this. Your brain is like a high-performance engine, and it needs the right fuel and maintenance to run smoothly.
So it's about taking a holistic approach, not just looking for a quick fix, but making lifestyle choices that support our overall well-being.
Exactly. It's about investing in long-term sustainable practices that nourish our minds and bodies.
Okay, that makes sense. And I think that's a great place to leave it for now. In the next part of our deep dive, we'll be exploring some of these evidence-based approaches to cognitive enhancement in more detail. And we'll be sharing some practical tips and resources that our listeners can use to start their own journey of personal growth and cognitive vitality.
Sounds good to me.
It's kind of crazy how much people want these quick fixes and easy solutions.
Yeah, it's that instant gratification thing, right?
Like, we all want that magic bullet that will instantly solve all our problems.
It's tempting to think there's a shortcut to success. But real cognitive enhancement, real personal growth, it takes time and effort.
So no shortcuts. No easy way out.
I'm afraid not. But there are things we can do that are grounded in science and actually work.
Like what? What can people do if they really want to boost their brain power and well-being?
Well, I always recommend starting with the fundamentals, the things that have stood the test of time.
Like meditation, for example. We talked a bit about that before.
Exactly. Meditation is a powerful tool. There's a ton of research showing how beneficial it is for your brain. Focus, stress reduction, emotional regulation, you name it.
And you don't need any fancy equipment or expensive programs to do it.
Nope. It's accessible to almost everyone. Just find a quiet spot, focus on your breath, and you're good to go.
Sounds simple enough.
It is. And beyond meditation, there are a lot of other mindfulness practices you can try. Mindful walking, mindful eating, even mindful dishwashing.
Mindful dishwashing.
Yeah. The idea is to bring your full attention to whatever you're doing, even something as mundane as washing dishes.
So it's about being present in the moment, not letting your mind wander all over the place.
Exactly. And all these mindfulness practices can help you reduce stress and appreciate the little things. And of course, we can't forget about the basics like sleep, exercise, and a healthy diet.
Right. Those are crucial for overall health.
Exactly. Your brain needs the right fuel and the right conditions to function at its best. Think of it like taking care of a car. You need to give it regular maintenance, put in good fuel, and not push it too hard.
Okay, so take care of your brain like you take care of your car.
Pretty much. And remember, it's not just about maximizing your cognitive performance, it's about cultivating well-being.
So it's not just about being smarter, it's about feeling better overall.
Exactly. It's a holistic approach.
I think this deep dive has been really eye-opening. It's made me think twice about these products that promise quick fixes and easy solutions.
Yeah, it's important to be critical of what you see and hear.
And do your research.
Exactly. Be an informed consumer. And remember, real change takes time and effort. There's no magic pill for success. But with the right knowledge and a little bit of effort, we can unlock our potential and live healthier, happier lives.
Well said. And that's a wrap for today's deep dive. Thanks for joining us.
It's been a pleasure.